Hello guys, glad to have you on board again today. I finally found some time to make that update slightly later than the usual timing, but yet I felt like I had to make one before heading into the weekend. Once again, warning because I have not that much time to answer your questions here and there, so I'll do my best to handle the subscription ASAP. But of course, there will be some delays regarding the question you might send me via email, Discord, or whatever channel you're using to contact me. So, be nice with me. Everything should be normal back in until mid to next week, to end of next week's. Anyway, so let's get started and talk about the Bitcoin, because I bet this is most of your concerns at the moment. Yes, we've been returning once again to the support. I've been triggered once again the invalidation alert, but yet I still don't trigger the invalidation so far. That market is acting really strangely. But anyway, I don't see much of a danger upcoming right now. Might be a danger over week, meaning we could gap once again the futures market, but I don't see that much of a risk right now. I hardly think that we might eventually have a bullish weekend. But anyway, I'll be ready to trigger the stop loss and exit all the positions I have if that were to be heading to the downside. So at the moment, patience is still required. Very low leverage position to allow moving the stop losses in terms of when the market is pulling risk. You don't want to be just taken down by a volatile movement. That will be the worst case scenario for you, to be just stopped out by your lower shadow candle. This is why when you trade counter trendy, you put low leverage to be able to have some room to move and adjust the stop loss regarding the volatility. We know right now that market is highly volatile, which means putting tight stop loss is not an option, because you can really, the market can really take those, and taking a stop loss means you are out of the scenario. But if you're out of a scenario that is still ongoing, that's a problem somehow. It means that you haven't handled the risks accordingly to the market. And from what I can see right now, we want to go bearish. We have the volatility to do it, yet we're not breaking the support either, which means something could still reactivate bullish at some point. And you know how the Bitcoin is. I mean, we could be there tomorrow without a problem and doing this in less than a few hours. I mean, Bitcoin is volatile, and if at some point the bears triggers the stop loss, the price will go surging without necessarily the need of a catalyst. So I would suggest being patient in the cryptocurrency world right now. The Ethereum is tracking down ahead of its major support area, which is right here. Let's say below 500. Sorry. So whenever we get there, we already have the bullish momentum into taking profit pattern. I suggest we're just making an excessive movement in here just to reach out to the technical support, which is slightly below, and we'll see how this reacts right there. I mean, if Ethereum is now going to surge right after this, you know what's going to happen with the Bitcoin. And this is why I think right now patience is the only rational solution to have if you trade. I mean, if you trade it as a bull, exiting right now would be stupid. And as a bear, I think it's really too early to consider making reinforcement and considering that support as broken down, as is absolutely not the case on Ethereum and things like that. Moving on with the other assets, we just found Eurozone making a kind of a deal regarding the migrants crisis, and it's been moving the euro pretty up and solid today and pushed the yen downward, which means the euro GPY scenario just got invalidated. I've got my stop loss triggered. I've been taking reinforcements, which actually forced me to lower the stop losses, and they got triggered at break even. So it's not a loss. It's just that the scenario, I've been taking too much risk on that scenario, and that let's say that downward movement on the risk regarding the Eurozone has been pushing euro pretty far and out of my risk area, which means I've been lowering the stop loss there when we broke that support, and that was a mistake. The market is taking that stop right now. I'm still remaining seller in here. It's just that, as you can see, bearish breakout, bullish breakout, but I had to trade that bearish breakout. I had to reinforce, because it's simply following the scenario and following the strategy here. So I have no regret. I've been trading how I should do it. But the fact is, I'm not there to handle catalyst. I don't know how this can go. I don't know how the market will react to this, and apparently the market is buying euro right now. So I think we're in such a replicate of that underlying consolidation we had back then. two waves upward. We try to break the support, we fail it. We go brutally upward, then we retrace, make a second push, and then we go downward. So I expect the price to go downward, slightly higher than that. And whenever we do this, as you can see, we got very low volume in that price area. So I suggest this is a strong resistant price, but we'll still need, I think, to make one more bullish push to trade that with low risk kind of scenarios entries. So patience required to me on the Euro GPY. I also put an alert back on the supports, because if for some reasons we get back there, it means dangerous. If we get to invalidate the bullish breakout, I mean, okay, we would probably pull back in here, but if we pull back in here and then falling apart, I'll have to put back all the leverage I had. But I think right now I can have some slightly better prices on that asset. So patience is my choice on this one. GBP USD has been triggering some kind of a bottom structure right here, thanks to the dollar, who is softening right now, but we're still having potential double bearish signal. This one is not yet validated. It's okay. The divergent pattern is absolutely not validated at that point. Requires a lot of patience. And once again on that one, very large stop losses, because it's trying to mess up with us, and we'll still go slightly lower. I think this is just a trap, and I think we're going to break up that bearish cycle, then pull back and go upward. So to me right now, it's also patience required on GBP USD, but that scenario could trigger. Things are doing pretty well with the AUD NZD. I mean, that thing is rocket mode. We're back to the major resistance, and I think we're going to flush that out without a problem. And so obviously, and thanks for that, AUD and NZD is here today to support the prices in the portfolio, which means I'm nearly at an uninteresting day. I mean, no losses, no gains, even though I've been taking stop loss. So I've been losing heavy amount of pending gains I had. I've got growth gain on the Euro GPI that just got flushed out entirely. So all those gains are out, but thanks to AUD NZD, the account is not falling today because of this, because of the AUD NZD with surging. And as you know, I'm leveraged 7 on that thing, which means you multiply the gains by 7. And thanks to this is what supports the price today. Supports my equity balance today. Other assets I'm still having a look at is the gold. I would really like to see this one finally fucking building a bottom. I mean, we have that taking profit pattern. The momentum is exhausted. We're making higher highs on the momentum. I think at some point the damn price will do as well. But it just requires patience on that shit. That asset is clearly pushed brutally to the downside. We'll see how deep it can go. But if it fails at some point, as I said, at any time we exit this, the bulls will be in control and they won't let go for a long period of time, and the gold will probably be up for weeks afterwards. Regarding the stock market, the stocks themselves, not a lot have been changing. We've been pulled back in yesterday, but I still remain short on Tesla, Apple, Facebook, Nvidia, Netflix, and nothing changes in my mind so far. Still bullish on General Electric as well, and nothing has changed. The Hang Seng is trying to make a pullback, so from what I can see right now, what I try to do is we're building bullish momentum, which means we're having consolidation. Probably this is a wave 5 building in here, so no problems. The market will probably go lower than that afterwards, but I highlighted that underlying support, which is a gap, bullish gap we had back then, and I think this is where I'll take a first layer of profit, as that underlying wave 4 suggests I might be more cautious and start taking some partial profits on the Hang Seng. So I'm putting limit orders in here to take 50% profits, 25% profit on that asset, only to sell them later again. I remain heavily bearish on this, but the question is a matter of timing, and from what I can see, I still don't see the thing should necessarily go all the way down in a single straight line. So it could be some pullbacks, and at that point, this is a risk, and it means I want to take profits to simply cash in the gains I've been paying for. We're expecting we've seen here, so I see no reasons to take more than 25% until we get there, so I still require patience, but at least partial profit taking, probably to sell again back in resistances and to make final impulse to lead us there, or eventually there to take entire profits. So anyway, lots of things can happen in between. Today's US session will be pretty much interesting. What we had yesterday was interesting indeed, and we're going to talk about this regarding the the US session, but we didn't necessarily manage. We're still making lower low, lower high, yet we've been closing below, we've even closed below 50% of the previous day, which is nothing close to a bullish market. So I think today we're going to go to extended consolidation once again. So I think today Wall Street is what price is currently in 27.27. So we're right here, probably no gap to expect today. So multiple options. It's either we already terminated wave 5 in here, this is an option, and if that's the case, then we'll retrace into waves. Second option, we're in a wave 5 extended the way I think it is, because generally wave 1 is breaking a support. So if this is a bearish impulse, I think we should have to break down that support. So we'll see how it goes. We could have a wave 5 extended, then in that case the target is right here. And this will just be a sub wave 1 to get there, finding a sell entry, and if that's the case, I'm ready to take it. Yesterday I've been taking partial profits right here, right on the bottom. I've been telling you about this one. So now we've filled that gap, which is right here. I want to see the market falling below that price today to confirm the bearish reversal. Otherwise, it's just that but we clearly have wave 1 to 4 overlap, so it's a perfect scenario in here to trigger that extended wave 5. But I want to see some reason for Wall Street to go down, and with that risk release tonight with the Eurozone, we'll see how it goes. If Wall Street is jumping on it, it has the reasons to do it. But if for some reason Wall Street's just taking the guys into the wrong foot scenario, you are selling today, I wouldn't necessarily be surprised. So we'll see how this plays out. But anytime we remain below the previous high, which is 27.45, if we get back to the support once again, I will be back in Wall Street. I've been taking profits entirely because of the risk, but I still think that market is bearish. But I wanted out temporarily before getting in back in, so it's basically wait and see approach. I'm trading right now, as I'm still trying to figure out what the hell's going on with the yen, with the US indexes, and it's still a troubling situations we have right now. So requires a lot of patience, very low leveraged, and large stop losses to absorb volatility. Anyway, that being said, that's all I had to tell you guys today before heading into the weekend. So beware of the Bitcoins and cryptocurrencies in general. Don't be too bearish. I mean, Ethereum is working around a big support area, and I'm not necessarily seeing this one to break down. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, if for some reasons Ethereum doesn't even trade in that range, in that support, and break it down all the way up, all the way down, I mean, at that point, Bitcoin is probably going to fall apart. So that's a possibility, but don't overthink things. I think right now either bullish or bearish is a good choice. It's just that you need to trade accordingly. Meaning if you try to buy only the bullish signals and at lower interesting prices. If you're trying to sell, try not to sell when the buyers are trading. Wait for your time to come, get good price, and wait for the true breakout daily confirmations to lower your stop losses, and don't do it before, because if you see the price breaking down, I mean, I'm going to give you a graphical example. If you see the price is doing this, and for some reason you're already lowering the stop losses, that might be a mistake. Okay, you should wait for the daily candle close to be activated to be sure that the market is not going to flush you out on a brutal reversal, because I can really see the market doing this. I mean, breaking in here, taking the candle close, and the candle right after, bang, removing all the stop losses at once. In a very brutal reversal, maybe basically just what we have back then, but with another and deeper pullback in the end, breaking resistances. I mean, at that point, if we do there, I mean, we reach out to the mid-channel part, finding support and not reaching out to the breakout area. So, okay, we can go there and find some support in here. This is where we've got the next breakout level. So if the market is going there, okay, the bears have run. It's pure and simple this. But if for some reasons, if the market is just trying to break, failing it, and giving us one more big blue bar, at that point, I think this one is going to break that resistance right away. I mean, it could be bearish, bam, big bullish candle, and we could be right into the validation level in a few hours. So don't be too aggressive, either bullish or bearish. Volatile is that market, and you don't want to trade that with leverage. Goodbye and see you on Monday.